what is this feminine leadership advantage we've been talking about? There's amazing studies going on. I want you to see what happens when we put all this into play. And then Connie's going to show us how she's done it in her own life. No pressure, Connie. But okay. So this key to leadership is really claiming this feminine power. But look, I want to kind of get... It's kind of fascinating what's happening. So we're in these transformational times right now, transition times. And how many of you feel changes in our world? Even to that? Yeah, like that. So there's a renowned transformational leadership researcher, Bernard Bass, who wrote the seminal book on transformational leadership. He was an uncanny predictor of business trends. They would ask him, what's going to happen 30 years in the future? He would say it, and 30 years later, that's exactly what happened in business. And before he died, they asked him his predictions for the next 30 years. And he said, oh, that's easy. Like, what? He said, well, but corporations in the year 2030 will be led by women. Okay. I'm ready. Yeah. And I want to tell you that research behind, he didn't even have all this research available when he said that, behind why that is. So the New York Times reported recently a study over 22,000 public companies in 91 countries. And having women in corporate leadership positions leads to, listen to this, increased profits. If you increase female managers from 0 to 30%, there's a 15% increase in profitability. Companies that employ female managers are more successful than those dominated by men. Also, these kind of results, greater revenue. Women-run businesses have an 18% higher revenue. Oh my gosh, I can go on. These stats are like, I'm cutting some out, but they're all juicy. In Fortune 500 companies, when you have 3 or more women in director-level positions, the return on invested capital jumped 66%. Hello, yeah, it's like amazing. So, and I was meeting with the chair of the 30% Coalition. She said, the three women seems to make a big difference. And I said, why is that? She said, well, because if there's 2, they may not speak up. When there's 3, they will. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, so that just to really have that in that way, that's part of it. So also with more women in management leadership, there's lower turnover, easier recruitment. Companies with more diversity have a 22% lower turnover rate. So they attract more qualified applicants. They have better operational, financial performance. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Increased innovation. Women bring valuable perspectives. How many of you have a little loose thinking sometimes? It's a good thing, okay? It's a little fluid. It's great. We can deal with the complexity of different problems. We have better problem solving and group performance. Knowledge work is performed in teams, and diverse groups solve problems more effectively. So women's businesses do better than men in economic downturn, and also in the tough times. They're not as much in debt. They address problems sooner. They're not so focused on how they look. They're more looking at internal substance. They're quicker to reach out for help, and they have more collaboration. They have more creative responses to problems sooner. They have access to this beautiful right brain functioning, which we're going to learn about a little bit later. Harvard Business Review, look at the title of this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Women Do It Better Than Men. Oh my gosh, Harvard Business Review. So women outscored men on 12 of the 16 attributes most associated with great leaders, from taking initiative to high integrity to driving for results. In fact, you guys named this one. You women named this one. The only competency in which men had a more positive score was developing strategic expertise. Women are better leaders. Companies that explicitly place value on gender diversity perform better in general. And they perform better in sustainability. Business startups are more likely to succeed if they're run by women. How are you feeling about these stats, by the way? Can you take them in? I'm kind of bombarding you. But most important, the leadership attributes for success today are more commonly found among women leaders. Teams with women are smarter. HBR again, Harvard Business Review. What makes a team smarter? More women. It tends to raise the IQ of the group. Come on! You want a better team? Get me on it. That's what we need to be saying. Teams with women are smarter. The group's collective intelligence rises. Women are more likely than men to possess leadership qualities associated with success. Women are more transformational than men, which makes them natural transformational leaders. They care more about developing their followers. They listen to them. They stimulate them to think outside the box. And they're more inspirational and they're more ethical, which is why Dr. Bernard Bass, the leading thinker in transformational leadership, says that future women leaders will dominate simply because they're better suited to 21st century leadership management than men.